am the DJI Pocket 3 and they say I am the best vlogging camera ever. So in this video, we'll take a look at how good I actually am.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This time around we'll be talking about the DJI Pocket 3. Now I have this camera for about a month now, and honestly this has to be the best camera I've ever purchased. So I want to share with you some of my experiences, some of my trips where I was using this camera, actually just this camera, for making my videos, and of course some accessories that you kind of need to get if you want to really use this camera in the best possible way. So last week we went to our coastline. My camera guy. I brought my Micro Four Thirds 40mm full frame equivalent camera with me, and of course I was filming everything with the DJI Pocket 3. Now the weather was fine, the scenery was kind of interesting. I didn't take a lot of photographs from that trip, but I did get to test out the ND filters that I got for the Pocket 3. Now I bought Freewell's variable ND filters. There's two filters in the pack where you get a 1 to 9 stop reduction of light, and they are variable. So the first one goes from 1 to 5 and the next one goes from 6 to 9. Now these filters allow me to use the 1/50th of a second shutter speed. Now this is going to give me the most natural looking videos if I'm shooting with 25 frames per second. Like here in Europe we use the pulse system, so 25 frames per second is the standard. And if I want to follow the 180-degree shutter rule, I have to set my shutter speed to 1/50th of a second. Now of course for this I need to put on an ND filter because otherwise the image would be really overexposed. Now but why do ND filters work on this camera and not on other action cameras? Now technically this is not an action camera because it has a gimbal and it's very fragile, and it also has autofocus, so if you're shaking this camera a lot it's not going to, well, perform really well. Actually it's not going to last really a long time. This is where action cameras with their fixed focus and electronic stabilization are a much better, choice for action shots. But it's the gimbal that actually allows me to use ND filters and not get this highlight ghosting and flickering of the highlights if I'm walking around or if I'm using the camera and shaking the camera around. Now the reason is, well, the stabilization is completely active, so it's a gimbal that stabilizes the video. For that reason the video that is recorded with this camera is, well, stabilized. That means that any motion blur that is being produced because of that 1/50th of a second shutter speed it's not going to cause the highlights to flicker around because the camera is, well, mechanically stabilized. A door above the door. So this, I think, is like the only device that you can get in terms of action cameras and pocketable vlogging setups where you can actually use an ND filter in that 1/50th of a second shutter speed and move around with the camera and get some really good videos. Now these specific ND filters attach to the camera magnetically like any other lens or ND filters that you can buy even from DJI, so the original ones. These ones are very slim, but they're not going to allow you to pack the camera all the way. You still get a bit of a collision, so you cannot pack the camera this way. Now it's not a big deal because the camera does do this, so it does get packed up and you can store it in the camera holder with the ND filter on, so it's not going to be a big issue. Like this. Now altogether I think the creative combo package where you get this DJI Mic 2 microphone is the best choice that you can get. Seriously, it's worth the money. Now I'm not being sponsored by DJI, but this, as I said, is it's like the best thing. Seriously, I mean, I'm really happy with this thing. Honestly, put it in your pocket and record a whole video. What I also did is, well, went hiking again. Actually, this time around I went for 2 hikes and I got some interesting photographs. So first I went up to 1500 meters above sea level. Now I always go that high because all the cottages are typically there. I got something to eat and then decided, I've never been up there to the top. I always go just to the cottage down below. So yeah, today I think I'll be heading up there, which is I think like, I don't know, 1700 meters, 18, maybe 2000. Honestly, I don't know, but it was quite a stretch. Now along the way I did take some, well, kind of interesting photographs and met quite a few people actually that were hiking up there. Not everybody had proper shoes. Now I did not film that because I don't know why, but I did film the track and it was quite a difficult hike, to be completely honest. Okay, this was a sketchy path. Oh boy. Like I seriously have to rest. I mean, then carrying a very heavy backpack with, you know, the holy trio of lenses, you know, 17 to 28, 24 to 70, and 70 to 180. After a bit of a hike, finally made it. I mean, come on, right there, the top in the mountain, spectacular. Luckily, I brought all of my lenses with me, which was quite a strain getting up here. To be completely honest, way too much gear for such a hike. Alongside with a small tripod and some clothes in case it gets cold. Yeah, it was quite a heavy thing. So I enjoyed myself a lot. Got these photographs, which I'm kind of, well, I don't know if I'm proud of them, but they are a memory of the place. And then the next day I went hiking to our local hiking spot, which is at around 800-900 meters above sea level, and alongside I took some of these photographs from the woods. Now all of these photographs were taken with my Sony camera, so not the 40mm micro four thirds amazing thing that I've been carrying around all the time, although for the first hike it would be better to have a lighter package, but I could not get all of the wide angle shots. But on the second hike I was really emphasizing on the light, the trees, the colors, the light rays. Some of those light rays are fake. Now I fake a lot of light rays if there's not a lot of fog, but hey, I just emphasize the feeling of the photographs, and I got a few interesting shots as well. And then on top, the holy church that I was hoping to photograph in its splendor and glory, well, it's being renovated, so win some, lose some. It's not always going to be a winning job. I did have an idea though. Should I continue? Should I go all the way up to Velika Planina? You know what? No, I did that yesterday. Like, an hour and a half of hiking. Then I just said, why not? Let's go all the way to the top. Another hour and a half of hiking. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna get something to drink. I think this is going to be the end stop because I deserve it. 2 days of brutal hiking. I mean, actually today was not brutal. It was a general, nice slope upwards, 45-minute-ish walk. But anyway, I deserve it. So those were the hiking trips. And then on my last little trip, I took Alex with me to the capital of Slovenia, which is called Ljubljana. It is one of the most beautiful cities that you can possibly visit in Europe. It was deemed the most beautiful capital of Europe for a year or something like this, and definitely the most green capital of Europe. So Ljubljana, definitely a place to visit. Now we did hike up all the way to the castle and, well, got some interesting photos of the castle and the tourists, which, well, there wasn't actually a lot of tourists, but this silhouette photo kind of looks okay. And then we went down and went to the Lego exhibition. We have a Lego exhibition in Ljubljana currently, and it's, I mean, honestly, so many Lego toys that they had to put together, and this Star Wars scene here is just phenomenal. I mean, I think it looks interesting recorded with the DJI Pocket 3, but in real life it was even more interesting. Look at how many details are being, made there. So the Lego stuff was quite interesting. Did not photograph anything. I just snapped a few shots with my, teeny tiny small pocket camera, and then we went to the park. So in Ljubljana there's also this park called Tivoli, and it's, well, interesting. There's a playground so Alex could play, and along the way, of course, I took a few photographs as well. So anyway, everything that you saw in this video was recorded with the DJI Pocket 3, except for the drone shots. Anyway, this was my 1 month later review of the DJI Pocket 3. Not a review actually, just kind of, I just wanted to show you the clips that I got with this and what you can get. Of course, with some color grading, I used D-Log-M, just like on my DJI Osmo Action 4. It's actually the same kind of color grading with some filmic filters attached to that as well. And well, yeah, honestly, I love the fact that this has a 1-inch sensor. It's definitely noticeable. So low light performance, actually not a big issue. I mean, it's comparable to, I think I could easily say, to a Micro Four Thirds camera. Honestly, yeah, maybe I'm exaggerating, but way better than action cameras currently have. Even with all the AI processing that the newer cameras have, this is still better, definitely better, so I do recommend it. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know if you like the photographs, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and hit the like button for the algorithm. That actually does help, so thanks a lot for that. And if you guys want to stay on the channel and watch last week's video, well then click on this one over here. Thank you, and I'll see you in this one. Bye bye.